Welcome. So nice to have you back here.
Again, I know, it's been ages.
Oh, it's just so good. And you know, I'm really excited about this because I love the look of a smoky eye.
So do I.
But I'm kind of a bit worried about it. I don't know how to get it right. I don't want to have panda eyes. I don't want to look as if, you know, let's face it, you know, mutton dressed as lamb. You know, my kids do it really well, both my girls. So what are the secrets then for somebody who's a little bit more mature but still wants that kind of dramatic pop for a party?
And you can, it's interesting because one of the questions I get asked all the time is, am I too old for a smoky eye? And the answer is no,
Yes.
no. But exactly as you said, it's about what we have to do differently.
Okay.
And the one thing to remember, there's one thing that we switch up, is the colour. So traditionally, a smoky eye is black. It's dark greys. It's quite heavy. So if we want a grown-up smoky eye, it's about moving from blacks and greys to browns and taupes.
Really?
It's much softer. It's much more wearable.
And any eye colour, any colouring can work with that. It's not just if you've got, you know, brown eyes like me and you.
Any colouring.
Okay, great. Let's
So
go.
that's what it is, and I'll show you how quick and easy it is. And there's one other little trick which we'll go through as we do it. So
So let's talk about this palette. I'll make sure that we put all the links, by the way, in the caption. This is called Visible Lift Eye Radiance.
and this is Smoky Eye in a palette made simple.
There you go.
So easy that
Smoky
even
eye.
I can do it. So easy, even
Well, let's
you
see
can
if-
do it.
yeah, go on
and the
then.
other thing about this, which is interesting, because you know those big eyeshadow bricks are so
Yeah.
popular. All my girls, 3 girls, all got one.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's
mine
like
too.
15 shades in them, right? And it doesn't matter actually whether you're 18 or 80, you use 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's true.
So I was like, I've got to simplify this. So this is Smoky Eye.
Okay.
In a palette made easy. So the first thing that we've done, because it's formulated, designed for mature skin, mature ladies, beautiful ladies like you and I, primer.
Right.
So it does have a primer built into the palette.
Nice. You haven't got to take a separate one with you.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So you can use your fingers, you can
Okay.
use the brush, but literally with the primer, you just apply it. I like to apply it across my whole lid, but
Okay.
all the way up to my eyebrow. And it just evens the texture of the skin. It's very slightly tinted because as we age, we do get pigmentation. We might get a
I
bit
get
of redness.
red eyelids. Yeah.
So we just want to neutralise it.
Okay.
So it primes, evens the skin tone, especially if you know, and it preps. The other thing about using a primer, it means you get a smoother surface, but it means the eyeshadow lasts longer. And what I've found definitely in my mid-50s is I get quite teary eyes. Usually I'm emotional and I'm crying over everything and anything. Plus I'm getting this teary eye. So primer in that.
Okay.
Right, next stage, we've got 2 shades here. And this is, you can mix or match, whichever
Okay.
one you're drawn to.
Okay.
Right, and they're both sort of mid shades, but I think because this is sort of grown up smoky eye, more for the evening, I would use that.
Slightly darker one. Okay, so am I
Slightly
going to
dark.
use this
So
brush?
this is just a really easy double-ended brush. So I like this socket brush.
That's what it's called, is it?
Yeah.
A socket brush. Okay, now we know.
And just apply a little bit to the lid of your eye.
Okay. All over, yeah?
Yeah.
All over the lid.
So it is powder, as you know with Studio 10. I much prefer liquid and cream products. But I think for eyeshadow, if you've got a really good powder, and because there's a little bit of shimmer in it, and that's the other thing, it's like you can't
nice.
use shimmer or pearl, but actually you can.
You can if it's the right one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this has got a very warm, soft gold shimmer.
And what I like about that is it's not dropping.
No. And that's part of the reason why I use a primer as well.
Okay.
So the classic smoky eye, when you use a darker shade or the definition shade, is you start off on the lid of your eye and it's really dark and you smoke up. So that's the one difference with a grown-up smoky eye, because if we put a really dark colour here, it's going to close the eye out. So we want the eye to be bright and wide awake and larger, which is why...
Especially if you've got like hooded eyelids.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So keeping a really soft mid colour on the lid, keeping
that
it quite
colour.
bright. And actually that's quite nice. This palette, yes, perfect for smoky eye, but for an everyday, if you want that everyday shadow,
Yeah, that's a good one.
lovely wash. Right, so that mid colour, keep it quite light. That looks absolutely stunning on you. Then what we want to do is start to add a little bit of definition, so that smoke effect, but still keep it bright, quite bright. So I use this darker shade.
Right. So use the same brush, the socket brush.
Same brush, yeah. And what's so nice about these powders, they blend really well with each other.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep cleaning the brush, and we don't need to do that.
And where am I going to put this?
Right, so that I would start to put where your socket is here.
Okay, so quite high
So just
then.
through the socket. Now, a little trick when you're adding definition is, here's the socket. If you've got hooded eyelids, which actually I do, if you put it through the socket when I open my eyelid, you don't see it.
I don't see it. Okay.
So you just want to go a little bit above the socket, and just in the centre socket of your eye. If you pull it all the way round and down here, it draws the eye down. And we don't want to do that because we want our eyes to look like they're wide awake and lifted.
Drawing it up.
Yeah, or in that centre,
Yes.
don't bring the dark colour
don't bring
too
it.
far
Okay,
down.
okay, right, got you.
It's just little tweaks.
Yeah,
That's not a word, is it? Tweaks.
Tweaks.
And tricks.
Tricks and tweaks. We love that. Okay, so actually, yeah, I'm putting that higher than I would normally think of, actually, to be honest. And put it on the other side. So it's going in the centre and over here. Quite high. I can actually feel it on the brow bone here.
Yeah, because that's actually where you're applying it. It's almost the lower end of the brow bone.
Okay.
And what you're doing effectively by using that darker shade through the socket is you're creating almost an enlarged lid. It's really opening the eyes out and creating a little bit of definition.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Yeah, see that just
Like that.
looks lovely.
Like that.
Right, and then we're really going to smoke it up because it's almost Christmas and we're going to be partying.
Okay.
So that's where you use the darkest shade. Now, what's so interesting about a lot of eye palettes is that darker shade tends to be completely matte, but I've just added a very, almost done a demi-matte, because if it's too matte, it's flat on the skin, and we want a little bit of light reflection. So with that, and now we can really smoke it up. So with this, you're effectively on the outer corner of your eye, and it doesn't even need to be that exact because you can blend and buff it in. You're doing a triangle. So I'm going to show you.
Okay. So a triangle.
Can you see how it just starts
just
to really
instant.
add...
Okay, let me go. So just here, triangle. Just blend and buff.
And it just creates that depth.
Absolutely it does.
I've actually taken this palette when I've gone on holiday as well. You know, even in the summer, you might just want a really nice sort
Yeah, a
of
bit of definition.
smoky eye, a little bit of extra definition. And also it's not, you can see, even though it's dark and it's a definition colour and it's intense, but it's still brown.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
just
it's
want
not
to
scary black.
It's not
Black
scary.
is
Black's
scary.
So
I think.
heavy and
It's
so hard.
It's too, yeah, you know, I'm not a rock chick, no matter what I might like to think in
You're
my
rocking
dreams.
it in your 60s, but we're not quite.
I know. I still start to kind of makes me very
Still in my 50s, but I'm not far behind you.
edgy when anybody says that. I still don't kind of relate to it, but I'm pleased to have got here and be, you know, looking and feeling good with help from my friends.
That looks lovely. And then you can take it another step further. You can use the other end of the brush if you wanted to create a little bit of extra definition as a liner, or
Okay, this one.
just a cheats way is just use
To use the pencil.
I
I love that
use our
pencil. I use that
because
pencil all the time. But I'm actually going to try the liner because what I like about this brush is it's so precise.
Yeah,
It gives you that little flick
absolutely. And that's a really nice
Instant.
little trick.
because you literally just sort of place it on your eye
Yeah.
and it just flicks it for you. Just gives you the perfect flick. You don't even have to worry about drawing it or have I got
Exactly.
it at the right angle. It just does it. It's
And I quite like,
Really
and
good.
it's a personal choice actually. There's no sort of right or wrong or rules, but I personally like to put a little bit
Under.
of definition just under my eye, but always when you're applying, as you say, sort of go upwards, almost into a little flick, and it just lifts.
Yep, it pulls it up. You can't go wrong with that brush actually, which is really nice.
And once again, you can layer it. The other thing, if you want more intensity, this is wet dry.
Oh, is it?
So depending on what, if it's a powder, it's gives you that definition, but it's quite, it's ultra flattering. If you want to really make it quite intense, almost like a liquid liner, you would wet it if you wanted.
Do you know, I'm actually going to try that, Grace, because I've got a little bit of water here. So I'm just going to dip my brush in.
While you do that, do my
water.
other eye, so at least I'm a little bit even.
And then I just literally put that in the pan of the...
But the little triangle on the outer corner just makes it so easy. Because people never know where to add that dark definition shade.
No. And actually, once you start to play around with this, you can really have quite a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think a smoky eye, once you get it right, it can be quite addictive.
I love a smoky eye.
It's actually quite a fun, sexy look.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Absolutely. And then the other little thing to remember with the smoky eye, if you have definition around the eye, keep the lips very natural.
Oh,
very
really?
nude.
So I'm not going to wear like a bright red?
No.
Okay.
And if you're wearing a bright red, which is bold on the lips, keep the eyes quite natural.
Okay. Well, I've just got your lovely lip balm on.
Yeah,
so
you're good to go.
perfect.
It's a really nice look.
And then lashes?
Lashes.
Ta-da, tell us about your
Lashings
mascara.
of lashes.
We love that.
And you do need to like really build
Okay.
it up just to open up the eye.
So this is double-ended.
I know, this is 6 in 1. I'm like
Six
that-
in one.
You know what it was with mascaras, right? Depending on what look you wanted, you've got to buy volumizing, fake lash mascara,
thickening,
or you want
curling,
lengthening, curling, and then
lengthening.
and I was like, again, it's so frustrating because it's a huge investment.
Yeah, they're not
makeup's
cheap.
expensive, it's a huge investment. And I thought,
so
right,
you've got 6 in 1
so
here.
it's a 6 in 1. So the main thing about this is it's double-ended, and 60% of your lash look is actually down to the brush. It's not the formula. It's
the
down to the brush. So I've got 2 ends to create different looks. So this brush here gives you can layer it, gives you that volume, that false lash, that glam lashes.
And it's not completely round.
No, and I've done that
It's a clever
deliberately.
shape.
Because have you ever tried to, I mean, I know Kerry, your makeup artist, uses eyelash curlers.
I'm quite scared of eyelash curlers.
Well, I've done it, and I've
pulled
taken
my lashes out.
I know, exactly. So I'm like, that's not going to work.
I'd rather get the curl without having to use them.
Absolutely. So with that, what I've done is most brushes are round, and I've cut the edges off.
So what does that do?
So it means it goes quite flat right to your lash line, and then as you pull it through, it's curling.
All right, let's have a go. So I put it on flat and then curl it
right
through.
as close to the lash line as you can go, and then pull it through, and it just really curls as you
Oh my gosh.
sweep it through.
So it does. It's just pulling them upwards as it coats.
Because it is important to curl your lashes. But
It lifts your eye,
it
doesn't
really
it?
does,
It really
but-
helps to frame your face and just sort of give everything that upward lift, which is frankly what
I've
we
tried
need.
so many times and I actually can't do it. And the other issue is I wear reading glasses, so I can't see. So
Yes.
it's like never
Even more dangerous
Exactly.
if you can't see. Yeah, no, you can see
So you
immediately.
look
You
at
can
the
see
difference. Yeah. And then on the other end, if you just want a little bit of lengthening or definition, I've put a comb. Or with me, my bottom lashes are so sparse and they're so short. So you can use the comb to do your bottom lashes, or if you just want a little bit of lengthening, a little bit of definition. So whatever you want, whatever look you want for your mascara, this does both.
And you should never pump your mascara, should
No,
you?
'cause
Because
it
you're
lets-
pumping air in.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So
But
just
do you know-
carefully just put the brush in and then pull it out.
Because the more air it gets in, means the mascara is not as long lasting.
Yeah, it's going to dry, isn't it? And is this, tear-proof, smudge-proof, run-proof? What's the
It's
story?
not waterproof.
No, well, I don't like
looked-
waterproof because they're so hard to get off.
Exactly, and I think all that. So I didn't want it to be waterproof, but it's long lasting. The other thing about it is it's a treatment mascara, because in the same way our hair and our skin dehydrates, so does your eyelash hair.
Oh, it's the same material, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
It's got the keratin. And
so
all
it's
of that.
got a really nice treatment. So it's quite nourishing. It's not drying. And then it is black. So as you know, generally I don't like black. I find it too heavy, too harsh. Our eyeliners,
But lashes,
we don't
I think
have...
you need.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I'm really loving that. And is it buildable? Can I go back and...
Yeah, it is. And the other thing that I wanted was... I didn't want it to dry out during the course of the day, that it feels brittle, and this doesn't.
Yes.
It sort of coats
Oh my gosh,
it.
I look like I've got false eyelashes on.
I know, it's hard for me to say, but I love my mascara. I do think it's genius, but then it's not for me to say that. But that was
So
the
I'm going to pop a
thinking
little bit on my
behind it.
lower lashes, just using
And
the
that's
other
where I
little
use
brush.
the comb.
Okay. So that's clever. It's like a little comb.
And how many, honestly, if you look at women's drawers or makeup bags, they have so many mascaras. Part of it is because you can never find the perfect mascara, or you're buying into the latest trend. And value for me is important. It's like having one or two products that really perform.
I'm always scared, of putting mascara on my lower lashes, but this just gives them a tiny little bit of definition. It's actually made them appear.
And that's what I needed, that comb, because if I use that brush, the brush
Yeah, no,
on my bottom lashes, I'd
couldn't,
end
could
up
you?
with mascara on my cheekbones. It's not a good look.
Really, really nice. Very natural.
But look how glam that is. I love it. And then you can build it. You can really smoke it up if you want to.
That is enough smoke for me. That's perfect. Thank you so much. You're a genius.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Now we've got to go out and party.
Oh yeah, for
Where
sure.
are we going?
Come on, let's go. Well, I am loving my smoky eye. What do you think? Drop me a comment. Let me know. Have you tried one before? Are you tempted now? Don't forget that we do have a fantastic 20% off, super generous, everything at studio10beauty.com. I'll make sure that the links to everything that we've talked about today are below. Do leave a comment and join us here next time.